Wow, I look great. Yeah, so I've got a ton of teeny tiny little spots going on right now, but it kind of fits this video because we're gonna be talking about concealers. I didn't want to just do my favorite concealers because there's just so many different types of concealers that do different things, and what I really wanted to focus on today are concealers that I love using because they look very, very natural. I guess this will be like my top 4 skin-like concealers. Don't hold me to it, but you know, something like that. So I'm not wearing any makeup right now because I wanted to try these concealers on for you. So we're just going to embrace all the spots today. The very first concealer that I want to talk about is this Stellar Limitless Concealer, and this is a brand that you can get at Sephora. The foundation by this brand, Stellar, is one of my favorite foundations literally of all time. It looks just like skin, it's beautiful, it's amazing. But this concealer is also so amazing, and you don't see me talking about it a lot because the color is so wrong for me. When I put this on, you're gonna see how insanely wrong this is for me, but the formula, oh my god, if you can find a color to match you, like a thousand times recommend. They did come out with a couple new shades more recently, so I think I will try and pick up a lighter shade. Again, this consistency is really what I'm talking about because it looks so natural and so skin-like and so beautiful that even if you have super dry under eyes, I think that this would really work for you. I just want to put a little bit on to show you. Freaking wish this color was better, but it's gorgeous. There it is. I know it looks crazy because of the color, but that consistency to me, like, it keeps the skin like sheen. It doesn't look cakey. It doesn't like settle. Like, obviously I do have fine lines under my eyes, and you know, no amount of concealer is gonna make those lines disappear, but the product itself doesn't settle in those lines and make it look so much worse. Obviously not a ton of coverage, like this is more of a light medium type of look, but if you're looking for just some slight correction, I'm actually going to apply a little bit more because you can really build this up as well. Definitely more for a natural look, and again, if you can find a good color match, and this consistency like dries down, like I don't feel like I super need to powder it, and it doesn't just like wear off. It's very long wearing, so this product. Okay, I'm gonna use on the other eye. I'm gonna look so crazy, but this is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Super Concealer. This is in my 2018 favorites video. You literally need the tiniest amount, like it spreads so far. Like I feel like this is actually going to be way too much. Contrary to the other eye, this is actually a pretty good color for me. It's very smoothing, very hydrating, but it doesn't feel like greasy or so thick or so creamy that, I don't know, like I get oily eyelids and this is not affected by that, so it really does wear very well. Obviously this looks so much better because the color is right, but again, this is really all about consistency, guys. So again, like I don't think that this one is necessarily something you need to set with powder. Like it really does look so good on its own and holds up really well on its own. Again, there's nothing I can do to get rid of the creases under my eyes, but it doesn't like make it worse. It doesn't like settle in too badly. I would say this one has a little bit more coverage than the Stellar one. These are both probably, out of anything that I'm going to share with you guys today, the best for a drier under eye. Neither of them accentuate for me like the fine lines and a dry or flaky texture. They both go on super smooth. I would say that the Stellar one looks more like skin than the Clinique one, but obviously shade selection is an issue over here, and it also, you know, gives a little bit less coverage as well. But again, these two, they just give you that very, very natural skin-like texture that doesn't look like you're wearing concealer. And in case you guys were curious, the Stellar one I have in the shade SO1, and Clinique I have in the shade Very Fair 02. I just removed those concealers with a makeup wipe, so I'm on to my next very skin-like concealer. This is a pot concealer from MAC, the Studio Finish Concealer SPF 35, and I have the shade NC 10. This is really great, I find, for not only my under eyes, but for spots as well. Whereas like the first two, I just find they don't have enough coverage or really the right consistency to sit well on spots and blemishes, whereas this one can really be used for both. So, I mean, I usually use my finger when I'm going in under the eye. This is a very thin but thick formula. I know that made no sense, but I find when I go in with my finger, it just like evenly coats my finger in like a very thin layer instead of like, I don't know, being crumbly or bulky or too thick or too creamy. So I just find that I can really get the right amount, and I don't know, it just like acts as a second skin. Like it really doesn't cake up or look heavy at all. So there, I think you can see I've applied that to my eye, and it just looks like, I don't know, it just looks very, very natural. It's very, very easy to blend. Like I find that out of all of these, this is the one that I can use on its own for a no makeup look, and it doesn't look weird that I'm not wearing foundation. This works pretty well on like blemishes. Obviously it's not like crazy full coverage or anything, but I just find it so easy to just go in with my finger. This one is a little bit more matte, I would say, than the first two that I showed you. But that being said, it still looks very, very natural, and much more natural than other pot concealers that I've tried. For example, this is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, also a pot concealer. I feel like a lot of people jumped on this bandwagon and really like this product. However, this to me is like so not good compared to this MAC pot concealer. Like this NARS one is just very thick. Like when I stick my finger in this one, instead of it coating my finger evenly and thinly, I just feel like it's very like thick and cakey. And I find like I'll just like apply a little bit on my skin. Like I just feel like I can see that on my skin. Whereas when I was applying this MAC one up here, like I just couldn't even really see where the product stopped and where it ended, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna remove that because it's ruining everything. So for that reason, like I just really, really love this MAC one. Okay, so this next one is the Essence Camouflage Full Coverage Concealer. And obviously this one, as the name would suggest, has more coverage than the first three that I've shown you, which are a little bit more natural. But I don't tend to use very much of this. This is a very, very cheap. You get a decent amount of product, so you get 5 milliliters, and I mean, this is like under $5, I'm pretty sure. It really looks like skin. It doesn't look thick, it doesn't look heavy, it's not accentuating anything, and it's very, very long lasting. I would say if you're looking for a much more natural version of Tarte Shape Tape, I would absolutely give this one a try. I have the shade 10 Nude. As far as what was in my store that I got this at, there was literally like, I think 2 shades maybe. So obviously shameful and very difficult for people to find good shade matches. But it does work really well for me. You know, it doesn't settle into lines. I feel like I can build it up pretty nicely to get even more coverage. Even though it says it's full coverage, it's not full coverage, because I don't really care if my under eyes look a little bit darker. Like I would prefer to look like I'm wearing less or no makeup than to have everything totally covered up. Really, really like this product, especially for the price. Okay, so those are the 4 foundations that I really wanted to focus on. I do have like an honorable mention. This is the Glossier Stretch Concealer. I have the shade Light. So again, this is a pot concealer and a very, very glossy consistency, which is basically why I did not include it in this video, because it's almost so glossy and so shiny that it does not look like skin. It's like too shiny to be real, although it does look very, very nice on the skin. If you have like super, super dry skin, you might really like this because it almost feels like there's a built-in, I don't know, like oil that's not super oily. On me and my oily skin, like this really does not last long. And I find because it is so like kind of greasy, to be honest, it just really does settle into the fine lines, especially under my eyes. So for that reason, I don't love this, but a lot of people do. And when you just like put it on your cheeks or on your forehead or whatever, it really does look very, very natural. Okay, so that is everything for this video. I do have a ton of other concealers that I like and that I use for different purposes, but in terms of like ones that really look like skin and are really, really natural, I think these four are probably the best in my collection. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to see more from me, I put out new ones every single week, so you can always subscribe. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.